Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes on the Daybreak Show. On the phone line, Mason County Commissioner Kevin Shutty, fresh off the heels of winning re-election. Good morning, Kevin. How you doing?
Morning, Jeff. Great. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, and good to hear your voice. Congratulations. I know you were running unopposed, which in its own right says a lot about the work that you're doing in the county, that folks in your districts feel like you're representing them just fine, but now we need to kind of move forward here. And what are some of the things that you and the other county commissioners have been looking at or talking about as we move into 2021?
Yeah, well, first off, Jeff, I appreciate you having me on, and just a heartfelt thank you to the voters in Mason County for entrusting me with a second term as commissioner from District 2. It's humbling, especially as we see some of the results roll in statewide and across the nation, to know that there are some definite divisions in our country that need to be worked on. But to have the overwhelming support of Mason County's voters is truly humbling. And the message I think that they're sending is get back to work.
Right.
So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And working with the commission, we have some challenges ahead of us. There's no doubt about that. We need to continue to manage our recovery from COVID-19. It's still alive and well in our community and across the state and nation. And so we need to be mindful about doing things to keep people safe and healthy. We need to be encouraging people to take seriously the recommendations of our public health officials and mask up and distance, especially as we get into the holiday seasons. And so that's always going to be, kind of first and foremost in my mind. But also, how do we recover economically? How do we bring jobs and opportunity to Mason County as we come out of the pandemic-related recession? Is definitely going to be a big topic of ours heading into 2021.
This has just had to have been a tough year for you guys to budget next year with everything that's been going on and the funds available that are coming from the state. And then if there is ever anything, help from the federal government to offset some of these things. But what's it looking like for next year?
Yeah, great question. We have, as you mentioned, we've had a pretty big influx of federal dollars passed down to us through the state. And so we're just trying to be good stewards of those dollars. I know on the sort of general non-public health side of CARES Act funding, we've received just a little bit over $5.2 million, and we've been using that to do small business grants through the Mason County Economic Development Council. We've been helping support our partners at both PUDs get utility assistance to their customers, and we're helping on the public health and housing side as well with making sure that we're getting out PPE and helping folks that have issues with paying rent, and so trying to support renters and landlords through that kind of a process as well. So we can't anticipate at this point. It's too soon to say. We can't anticipate necessarily another round of stimulus from the federal government. So we just need to kind of work with what we have. On our general budgeting, we didn't take as big a hit as many were anticipating or as other communities have taken. And so we're just trying to be responsible. We're trying to live within our means as much as we can, make some modest investments where it makes sense. But generally, it's going to be trying to hold the line and get us into 2021, and we'll kind of see what happens at the national level with another package. But we can't expect the cavalry to come save us. We need to be taking care of business at home first.
You did mention that work you're doing with the EDC. I do want to make a note that there is another Mason County Small Business COVID Relief Grant. This is the second one of these grants. Depending on the amount of employees you have in your business, it could be up to $30,000. There is a deadline for that, so make sure you head over to choosemason.com, and right there on the front page you see that one. There are also deadlines, as you mentioned, with PUD 1 and 3 for their assistance, and there's information on their websites as well. As we look ahead to this next year, if there is an opportunity to go ahead on any sort of a pet project that you have to look at the county a different way, is there something that you'd like to try to get done by the end of next year if the time and the funds are available?
Yeah, absolutely. I have about three issues that I'm really excited to continue working on into next year. First on that list is going to be continuing to work on the Belfair sewer, continuing to try and put us in a position to capture growth and development in that part of the county, so that we can not only stabilize the finances of the Belfair sewer, but also bring jobs, housing, and opportunities into Mason County. And so that's going to continue to be a top priority of mine in 2021. But also the other two things that are really important are going to be behavioral health, mental health services and care in Mason County, and again, trying to strengthen our crisis care system in the county, working with our partners in law enforcement. And then on the other side of that is looking for opportunities to continue with supporting programming that we brought into the county on the law enforcement side with law enforcement assisted diversion. We're in talks with the sheriff's office about providing a behavioral health navigator for the sheriff's office to help just be that sort of conduit between law enforcement and all of the other of the mental health services that we have in the county. And so, we're going to continue working on those things. I think those are really critical to ensuring that we have, a thriving community. We need to be taking care of the most vulnerable in our community. And the only way we do that is through partnerships. So those would be the top three things that I'm going to be focused on in addition to the COVID work heading into 21.
That the COVID numbers, of course, continue to rise, and we're seeing a steady increase across the country and locally within the state. And at Mason County, with the daily updates, we're seeing these increases. Is there any concerns or thoughts of, I don't know if the governor's office or if you and the county commission are looking at going back in phases, but do you think if the trends continue to rise over the next couple of months with Thanksgiving on the way and Christmas that we may see some stricter conditions out there?
I think one of the things that we're hearing is that the state might be, putting out some additional guidelines, some additional cautions. We haven't had a discussion in the county about rolling back where we are. We're still in phase 3. But I don't want people to lose sight of, the severity of the pandemic. As you mentioned, we still see rising cases. We're most weeks we're still hitting double-digit case numbers in Mason County, and that's the same, in our neighboring counties as well. I think Pierce County at one point last week had over 200 new cases, and they're a border county to us. And so, as people are getting out and about, as they're thinking about doing their Christmas shopping, as they're thinking about spending time with family and friends over the holidays, it's really, this is a critical time for us to really lean into those tried and true public health precautions, wearing a mask, making sure we're keeping distance when we can, washing our hands, and taking it seriously. We know that we're going to have to live with this for some time. It's going to be a while yet, I believe, until we have a vaccine that's widely available. And so I think people just need to understand that they have to take personal responsibility to keep themselves and their neighbors healthy throughout the rest of this pandemic. Especially concerning as we head into our influenza season, which we're right kind of on the front end of that. We want to make sure that we're not overwhelming our healthcare providers, and just trying to be responsible with everything. So don't give up hope. We have a long way to go, I think, on this, but don't give up hope. We can still turn the trend around if we take responsibility.
Mason County Commissioner Kevin Shutty will be working hard for the folks in Mason County for the upcoming term here after winning re-election. And let's continue this free flow of conversation to get the information out to the public. When you've got updates or your fellow commissioners, let's get on the air and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin.